So just going to pop the bonnet. Okay, so going into the engine bay, we can see that there is the B20 in there. We've got an alternator was fitted here, so that is a 35 amp alternator. There is also down here is a 123 electronic distributor. Battery is fairly big one that's been put in recently. And we've got a single Zenith CD175 carburetor here. That's this engine. It comes with its traditional frying pan air filter. The air filter is changeable in there, so you can just open that up. Radiator was replaced about 10 years ago with a reconditioned part. And just looking down, the fuel pump is about 2 years old. That's quite new. Starter motor down here is, there you go, that's taken from a 940 Volvo, so it just makes it start a bit quicker really. And as I said in the advert, the engine is fitted with a D-cam, which means you can remove this manifold and put on a twin carb manifold. Get yourself a couple of SUs on there, which will probably give it a bit more power. Brakes are on servoed, so we've just got master cylinder here and clutch master cylinder there. It's 1967, so this is a hydraulic clutch. Alright, so this is the 1967 121. I'm going to start from the front end to show which bits are the rusty bits on this one. So you see here, this front panel is, I would say, shot. This needs to go. Okay, driver's side wing has been restored about 6 years ago. However, there has been a little bit of bubbling at the front. Has been primered, but it does need going over again. Has a tiny bit on the edge of the wing here, but this wing is in good condition. Look at the wheel arch down here. Yeah, it's in reasonable nick. Obviously the front panel's got to go. I'll just open up. This wing here is a scrap job, I would say. Get rid of that. But we do have the spare wing for it. Just going into the engine bay. Just get my trusty screwdriver out. So, area for me is this inner wing here. So you can see where the screwdriver's pointing, just in there, and the inner wing tip there. It needs a bit of work on that side. However, if you go down here, so it needs a bit of work just coming along all of this edge. But once you get to this point, by the relays, that is solid metal there. But this whole edge along here will need a little bit of work. But as you can see down there, is all in really good condition. This is all really solid. The whole inner wing is really solid all the way along there. Obviously, once you've got rid of that outer one, there's a little bit underneath the cylinders here. However, it's solid metal. Just a bit of paint's come off. And then this inner wing will need a little bit of attention here, but it's still solid metal. It really needs just kind of repainting. Yeah, you can see that there's a tiny bit of flash rust on the surface, but the screwdriver's not going in. Coming around here, so on the scuttle panel here, there's a tiny bit of a hole here. There's a little bit more in here, but that hasn't progressed. There's just have the screwdriver in there. It's all really solid all the way around it. Down to this panel here is really solid as well. You can see. So yeah, it does need a little bit of work down there. And I'd say about this section around to about there probably needs a bit of a going over. I'll just come around to the other side. We've got this side is in slightly worse condition than the other side. However, I say it's about up to here. This area here does need attention, and a little bit of the scuttle here, but it's not as bad as the other side. It just needs a little bit of going over here. But once that wing's off and that inner ring repair's done, that'll be okay. Doors on this side are unrestored. They're in their original condition. Coming back to the back end, we've got a repair required on the lower valance here. However, the metal's relatively solid. It just needs going over really. It's just had a bit of water penetration there. The wheel arches on the rear will need doing. Probably good about up to there. Then this whole section probably needs to come out and be done. Get my hand, you won't be able to see, but I'll get my hand underneath. But that's the inner wing is in fairly good condition there. Coming around again. Okay, so just coming over to the boot. We've got a tiny bit of rust on the bottom edge of the boot lid. And a tiny bit on this panel here. But as you can see, there's no rust around the fuel filler neck or cap. There's just a little bit of rust along this edge, but it only needs a touch up. Cones are fine, as you can see, on each side. Absolutely good condition. I think they were replaced a few years back. One of the outriggers on the rear is a modern reissue. As you can see, the chrome was peeled off on one side, so not the greatest of quality, but I reckon we could get one quite reasonably for that. And then there's a little tiny bit of damage underneath the lights here, but nothing major. The boot was redone about 6 years ago, and everything was rebuilt inside here. Obviously it's just got a bit dirty over the years, but it's in there. Spare wheel well. This has been actually fine. It had a little bit of work on it, but is in good condition. So I'll get the trusty screwdriver in there. It's already solid all the way down to the drain hole there. Drain hole's still perfectly round as it should be. You can see. But yeah, so the boot's in fairly good condition. Just coming around here. So coming around to this side. So the valance on this side is absolutely fine. And this side of the car's had a bit of work. But obviously the wheel arch does need doing here. But the metal is good from about here. So that section there will need doing. Underneath is all in really good condition. And come along here, the sills are in really good condition. This side's had a bit of work because there was an accident. So the doors have all been reskinned on this side. So they've been completely redone. As you can see, the sill all the way along is in really good condition. That's the main part. Come back to the front end. I'll just give the interior a look. Okay, so coming into the interior, both footwells need a little bit of work. So there is a bit of rust in this corner of the driver's footwell that needs sorting out in that corner. So this floor panel will probably need doing. And then just coming over, obviously the passenger side, as you can see, it needs a bit of work down here, but the metal is good from that point upwards. It's just this area here along the seam there that needs doing. The structure, as I said, the outrigger here is solid as a rock. You see that screwdriver's going in. It looks worse than it is there, but however, this flooring needs to be done. There is a floor panel provided with the sail, but as you can see, everything's solid from about up to there, then just a bit rustier below. So that needs a bit of a repair panel there.